The certified mail arrived during battalion morning formation. 200 soldiers watching as I opened the hospital envelope that said, "I'm 0% the father." I'm Captain Bradley James Reynolds, 31 years old, Army Infantry. I'd just come home from 9 months in the Middle East. 9 months of thinking about my wife Jennifer, my 8-year-old daughter Emma, and the baby that was supposed to be ours. 9 months of counting days until I could hold them again. The envelope was official weight, that heavy paper stock the military uses for permanent records. I was standing at parade rest, First Sergeant Davis calling roll, the North Carolina sun already hot at 0700. When the mail clerk handed it to me, I could feel every eye shift in my direction. Red, certified stamp across the front. Army Medical Center letterhead. I shouldn't have opened it there. I should have waited. But I'd been waiting 9 months for news about the baby, and the envelope felt important in a way that made my chest tight. When I broke the red certification seal, it made a sharp crack that carried across the formation. Inside, the trifolded papers had that chemical smell, fresh from the laser printer, still slightly warm. The letterhead was embossed. I could trace the Army Medical Center logo with my fingertip even as my vision blurred, reading the words below. Combined paternity index 0.0, probability of paternity 0.0%, alleged father CPT Bradley James Reynolds, gestational age 24 weeks 0.00. I stood there. 200 soldiers, the morning briefing happening around me like I was underwater. First Sergeant Davis saw my face go white. He stepped forward. "Sir, you need a minute?" I couldn't answer, couldn't move. The paper in my hand, still warm, still smelling like toner and lies, said my wife was 6 months pregnant with someone else's child, while I was deployed, while I was in combat. The formation continued. Someone dismissed the troops. I just stood there, the metal of my dog tags suddenly cold against my chest, the weight of them unfamiliar after 9 months of never taking them off. Davis guided me toward the company office, his hand on my elbow like I might fall. Maybe I would have. The deployment dog tags around my neck, 2 stainless steel rectangles on a ball chain, clinked with each step. I'd worn them through every firefight, every patrol, every night sleeping on a cot thinking about coming home. Welcome home, soldier. Two weeks earlier, the homecoming ceremony, Emma had made a banner, 6 feet of hand-painted vinyl stretched across the bleachers at Fort Liberty's welcome area, purple handprints for hearts. "Welcome home, Daddy," in careful third-grade letters. When the wind caught it, the vinyl rustled. That distinctive sound that's not quite like fabric, sharper somehow. I remember seeing it from the bus window. My throat closed up. 9 months, 273 days. She'd counted every one. The doors opened and I stepped down into North Carolina humidity. September heat like walking into water. And then Emma was running, 8 years old, all knees and elbows, and that gap-toothed smile. She hit me like a freight train. Daddy, you're home. Welcome home, soldier." I picked her up. She was heavier than when I left, taller, her arms around my neck so tight I could barely breathe, but I didn't care. This was what I'd fought for, this moment, this kid. Over her shoulder, I saw Jen, my wife. 29, blonde hair pulled back, wearing that yellow sundress I liked. She was smiling, but something in it didn't reach her eyes. I told myself it was nerves. 9 months is a long time. Her mother, Vivian, was there too, visiting from Ohio. She hugged me, crying, saying, "Thank God you're safe," over and over. Jen stepped forward, kissed me. It felt polite, careful. "Welcome home," she said, then quieter, her lips near my ear. "We need to talk about something, but not now, not in front of Emma." I should have known then, should have heard the warning in those words. But I was home. My daughter was in my arms, begging me to never leave again, and I was so relieved to be standing on solid ground that I missed it. That night, Emma asked if she could wear my dog tags, the ones I'd worn through deployment. The ball chain was warm from my body heat. When I put them over her head, they clinked, that distinctive metal-on-metal sound every soldier knows. The tags hung too low on her small chest, almost to her stomach. "They're too heavy for you, sweetheart." "I don't care. I want to wear them, so I can feel close to you even when you're at work." I shortened the chain. She touched them constantly, making that soft, clinking sound. That night, I heard it as she slept. That gentle clink-clink as her chest rose and fell. The sound of someone holding onto you when they're afraid you'll disappear again. Jen watched from the doorway. Something flickered across her face. Guilt? Fear? I couldn't read it. "She really missed you," Jen said. "I missed her too. I miss both of you." I looked at her stomach, still flat. "How's the baby?" She touched her abdomen. "Fine, everything's fine." But she wouldn't meet my eyes. "Jen, what did you need to talk about?" "Later, Bradley. You just got home. Let's just enjoy this." I should have pushed, should have demanded to know. But I was tired. Bone tired from travel, from 9 months of hypervigilance, from the weight of being responsible for 73 soldiers in a combat zone. I let it go. That was my first mistake. 3 days after the formation, after the letter, after my world ended in a certified mail envelope, I was alone in my office late at night. Most of the base was dark. I couldn't go back to our house, couldn't look at Jen, couldn't pretend everything was okay for Emma when nothing was okay. On my desk, 47 letters, rubber banded together. Emma had written me every week during deployment, sometimes twice a week. The stack was thick, colored envelopes because she'd picked a different color each time. Purple for week 1, pink for week 2, blue for week 3. The rubber band was stretched and aged from holding them. I'd read them all already, read them on patrol, read them in my bunk, read them when the mortars were falling and I needed to remember why I was there. But now I was reading them differently, looking for clues, looking for the truth hiding in crayon and third-grade spelling. "Dear Daddy, I miss you so much. School started. I'm in Mrs. Peterson's class. Love, Emma. Dear Daddy, we went to the zoo. I saw elephants. Mommy says you'll be home for Christmas. Love, Emma. Dear Daddy, Mommy made spaghetti for dinner. I wish you were here. Love, Emma." The letters smelled like crayons, that waxy smell I'd know anywhere. Some had strawberry lip gloss marks where she'd kissed the paper, my daughter, my kid, the only good thing I'd ever done in my life. And then letter 23, November, 3 months into deployment. "Dear Daddy, school is good. I got an A on my math test. Mommy's friend, Mr. Cole, helped me with my homework. He's really nice. He comes over a lot now. Love, Emma." I stopped breathing. Letter 24. "Dear Daddy, Mr. Cole stayed for dinner again. He's really nice, Daddy. He reads me bedtime stories now when Mommy is tired. Love, Emma." Letter 26. "Dear Daddy, I miss you. Mr. Cole doesn't read stories as good as you, but he tries. He sleeps on the couch sometimes when it's late. Mommy says it's okay because you said so. Did you say so? Love, Emma. Did you say so?" The letters fell from my hands, scattered across my desk, purple, pink, blue, yellow, green. 47 innocent letters from a child who didn't know she was documenting her father's betrayal. Cole, Sergeant Cole, Mitchell Patterson, 26 years old, my subordinate, one of my soldiers. I'd deployed with a different rotation, left him stateside. He'd been assigned to family support duty, helping military spouses while their soldiers were overseas. I'd approved the assignment myself before leaving. "Mr. Cole reads me bedtime stories in your chair. Mr. Cole sleeps on the couch. Mommy says you said so." I picked up letter 23 again. The paper was rough under my fingertips, that cheap construction paper Emma used. November 15th, 3 months into my deployment. Jen told me she got pregnant in October. She said it happened right before I left, that we must have conceived during those last few days together. But if Cole was already there in November... My hands were shaking. The letters made that soft rustling sound as I gathered them back up, trying to put them in order, trying to make the timeline make sense, even though I already knew the truth. The door opened. First Sergeant Davis. 43 years old, 22 years in service, my mentor since I was a brand new lieutenant. He looked at the letters scattered across my desk, at my face, at the way I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. Sir, I couldn't speak. Davis closed the door, sat down across from me, put a folder on the desk. Manila. Official. I need to show you something. I've been sitting on this for 3 days since the letter came. I wasn't sure if I should, but... He opened the folder. You deserve to know everything. Inside, printouts, computer records, security gate logs from our housing area, 47 pages spanning 9 months. Yellow highlighter marking entries, so much yellow. The gate guards log every vehicle that enters base housing after 2,200 hours. It's automatic. The system... Davis, what am I looking at? He pointed to the first highlighted entry. September 23rd, 2 weeks after I deployed. Vehicle 2019 Ford F-150. License NC 7392. JM driver SGT Cole M. Patterson. Destination 1247 Cavalry Circle. CPT Reynolds Residence. Entry time 2247. Exit time. No exit recorded. No exit recorded, meaning he stayed overnight. Davis flipped pages. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Yellow highlighting on every page. 34 entries total. 34 times. Cole Mitchell Patterson entered my house after 2,200 hours during my deployment. 28 of those entries had no exit time recorded. He stayed overnight 28 times in my house, with my wife, with my daughter sleeping down the hall. There's more. Davis pulled out another stack. Clipboards, 3-hole punched, coffee ring stains, family support group sign-in sheets. They hold meetings twice a month for spouses. Your wife attended 23 meetings during your deployment. He flipped through the pages. Each one had 2 columns, arrival signature and departure signature, Jen's handwriting, Cole's handwriting, right next to each other. 23 times they signed in together. 23 times they signed out together. The cheap paper crinkled under my grip. The coffee stains created little tactile bumps where the liquid had dried and warped the paper. The pen indentations showed pressure. Cole had pressed hard when he signed, like he was making a statement. Davis, the duty roster, the one that authorized Cole for family support, I signed that before I deployed, right? Davis was quiet for too long. Sir, there's something else. He slid one more document across the desk, the duty roster, spreadsheet printout, Army letterhead, 9-month schedule, and there at the bottom, my signature, Captain Bradley James Reynolds, approving Sergeant Patterson for family support duty. But something was wrong with it. Sir, look at the date on that authorization. September 15th, the day I deployed, the day I was wheels up to Iraq at 0600. I couldn't have signed this. I was already... I know, sir. You were in the air when this document was dated. Someone forged your signature. Someone wanted Cole to have unrestricted access to your family, officially. The office was too quiet. Just the hum of the AC, the distant sound of someone doing PT outside, the rustling of papers as my hands wouldn't stop shaking. 34 times, 28 overnights, 23 meetings together, forged authorization. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was systematic, premeditated, planned. Who forged it? My voice didn't sound like mine. Davis looked uncomfortable. Sir, that signature authorization goes through the chain of command. It would have to be someone in command. Someone who knew I was deploying. Someone who wanted this to happen. We sat there, two soldiers, two men who dedicated our lives to a code, honor, duty, loyalty, brotherhood. And someone in that brotherhood had forged my name to give another man access to my wife. If you've ever read something, a text, a letter, an email, that changed everything you thought you knew, you know this feeling. The way the ground disappears beneath you, the way nothing makes sense anymore. Sometimes the truth hides in plain sight, in children's letters, in gate logs, in signatures that aren't quite right. You're not alone in missing the signs. Letter 23 sat on top of the pile. Mr. Cole reads me bedtime stories in your chair. I need to see him, I said. I need to see Cole. I found him in the company office, Monday morning, 0900. Cole was at his desk, filling out some maintenance form, his uniform crisp and neat like he hadn't just destroyed a family. He looked up when I walked in, smiled, actually smiled. Captain Reynolds, sir, welcome home. How was... Stand up. The smile faltered. He stood. He was younger than me, shorter, but he'd been my soldier, someone I trusted, someone I'd mentored. Sir, is something... The baby's not mine. I watched his face, watched the calculations happen behind his eyes, watched him decide how to play this. Sir, I don't know what your... I have the paternity test, I have the gate logs, I have 23 family support sign-in sheets with both your signatures, and I have my daughter's letters telling me how you read her bedtime stories in my chair while I was getting shot at in Iraq. His face changed. The fake concern dropped. What replaced it was worse, smugness, like he'd won something. Look, Captain, Jen and I, we didn't plan this. It just happened. She was lonely. You were gone. She needed... Don't. My hands were fists. Don't tell me what my wife needed. On the wall behind him, my Purple Heart, shadow box, glass front, velvet backing, the medal from my last deployment, the one where I took shrapnel protecting my squad. Emma loved that medal. She showed it to everyone, told them her daddy was a hero. Cole followed my gaze. His expression shifted again to something defensive, aggressive. You left, Captain. You chose deployment over your family. You chose this. He gestured at the Purple Heart. You chose getting shot over being a husband, over being a father. Jen wanted someone who was actually there, someone who wasn't always leaving. My vision was narrowing, the edges going dark, my heart rate spiking. The office was too hot, too small. I could hear my own breathing getting faster, harder, PTSD. I knew the signs, knew I was spiraling. What are you going to do, sir? Cole leaned back in his chair, casual, confident. Hit a subordinate? You'd lose everything. Your rank, your career, your daughter. You'd prove Jen right, that you're not fit to be here, that you care more about being a soldier than being a father. He was right. That was the worst part. He was absolutely right. Military justice doesn't work like civilian justice. You can't just punch someone even when they deserve it, especially when they're your subordinate. I'd be court-martialed, lose my rank, lose custody of Emma, lose everything I'd built over 13 years of service. Cole knew it. He was counting on it. She wanted someone who was actually here, he said again, and I was here. The room was spinning. My hands were shaking. I could feel the trigger, the PTSD response I'd been managing since my last deployment, the way stress and rage and helplessness combined into something dangerous, something I couldn't control. I had to get out, had to leave before I did something that would give them exactly what they wanted, proof that I was unstable, proof that I was the problem. I turned and walked out. Behind me, Cole called out, "Welcome home, soldier." It sounded like victory. Lieutenant Colonel Frank Morrison called me into his office the next morning, 48 years old, silver-haired, 2 deployments to Afghanistan, 15 years at Fort Liberty. My commanding officer, the man who wrote my performance reviews. the man who controlled my career. His office was corner position, second floor, with a view of the parade ground. On the wall, the battalion charter, framed, glass front, the original from 1952, yellowed parchment with calligraphy text about honor and duty and brotherhood. "Close the door, Captain." I did. "Sit." I sat. Morrison leaned back in his leather chair, steepled his fingers, looked at me like I was a problem he needed to solve. "I've been briefed on your situation, the paternity test. Sergeant Patterson, I want you to know the battalion takes this very seriously." "Sir, I appreciate, which is why we need to handle this carefully, quietly." He pulled out a folder, transfer orders already typed. "I'm offering you a solution, a transfer to Fort Campbell, effective immediately, 6-month temporary duty. By the time you return, Patterson will have rotated to a different unit. Your wife can handle her business. You and Emma get a fresh start. No scandal, no public spectacle, no court-martial that drags this battalion through the mud." The air conditioning hummed. Outside, someone was running PT, cadence counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. "Sir, Sergeant Patterson used a forged authorization to access my house. He exploited his position to... We don't know it was forged. The document is dated the day I deployed. I was wheels up at 0600. I couldn't have signed it." Morrison's face didn't change. "Paperwork gets backdated all the time, Captain. You know that. Maybe you signed it the night before. Maybe you don't remember because you were preparing for deployment." "Sir, I didn't..." "What I'm hearing is that you want to pursue charges against a subordinate for a consensual relationship with your wife." He said it slowly, carefully, like I was the unreasonable one. "A relationship that, however unfortunate, doesn't violate UCMJ unless we can prove he exploited his position, which we can't, because the authorization has your signature. That signature is forged. Can you prove that? Without a doubt? Because if you open an investigation, Captain, we investigate everything: your marriage, your mental health, your PTSD, whether you were fit to deploy in the first place, whether your absence contributed to this situation. Every detail of your personal life becomes evidence. Is that what you want for Emma? To watch her father's life dissected in front of a military tribunal?" My jaw was so tight it hurt. Morrison softened his voice, leaned forward. "Bradley, I'm trying to help you. Duty first. That's what we teach. Your duty right now is to your daughter, not to some crusade that hurts everyone, including her. Take the transfer, get some distance, protect Emma from the fallout. That's what a good father does." "What about what a good officer does?" "A good officer protects his unit, doesn't create scandals that destroy morale and make us look weak, doesn't air dirty laundry that makes every military marriage in this battalion question their spouse. You want to be responsible for that? For making every soldier wonder if their wife is..." He stopped himself. "Take the transfer, Captain. It's the smart move. You have 72 hours to decide." He slid the folder across the desk. Transfer orders, already signed by him. Just needed my signature to execute. "One more thing." Morrison's voice dropped. "My son had a situation 5 years ago, similar to this. A woman, some allegations. We handled it quietly. He got transferred, she got compensated, everyone moved on. He's a major now, successful career. If we'd let that become public, it would have destroyed him. Sometimes, Bradley, protecting the future means letting go of the past." He'd covered up his own son's scandal, and now he wanted me to let mine disappear too. "Duty first, Captain. Think about what that really means. You have 72 hours. I stood, walked out. The battalion charter on his wall, all those words about honor and integrity, felt like a joke. That afternoon, Jen's mother knocked on my temporary quarters. Vivian Carter, 55 years old, high school English teacher from Ohio, widowed 3 years ago. She'd been staying with Jen to help with the pregnancy, had been there at the homecoming, had hugged me, crying with relief. Now she looked older, tired. Her hands shook slightly as she held a manila envelope. "Bradley, can I come in?" I let her in, offered her water. She sat on the edge of the government-issued couch, clutching that envelope like it might escape. "I need to show you something, and I need to tell you something, and both of them are going to hurt." "I'm already hurt, Vivian." "I know, sweetheart. I know." She opened the envelope, pulled out an ultrasound photo, thermal paper print, Army Medical Center logo, blue-tinted image of a fetus. 18 weeks stamped in the corner, dated March 21st. "Jen told you she got pregnant in September, right? Right before you deployed. She said she was about 4 months along when you came home in May." "Yes." "This ultrasound is dated March 21st. 18 weeks pregnant. That means conception was..." She counted on her fingers. "Late November, early December. You deployed September 13th. November. When Emma's letters started mentioning Mr. Cole. The thermal paper was slick under my fingers. Different texture than regular paper. It had that medical chemical smell. The edges were starting to yellow from being carried around, and it curled slightly at the corners. "She lied about the timeline," Vivian said. "She knew it wasn't yours from the beginning. She just hoped, I don't know what she hoped, that you wouldn't check? That you'd be so happy about the baby you wouldn't question it?" "Vivian, why are you telling me this?" She looked at me. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Because my daughter is wrong, and I won't watch you be destroyed for her choices." Her voice cracked. "Jennifer is my child. I love her. But Bradley, she did this to her first boyfriend too. In high school, there was a boy named Michael. They dated for 2 years. He went to Ohio State, an hour away. First semester, she cheated with his best friend. Told Michael it was because he'd abandoned her by going to college. Made it his fault." My chest felt hollow. "I thought she'd grown out of it. I thought with you, you're such a good man, Bradley. You're a good father to Emma. I watched you with that little girl, and I thought, finally, Jennifer found someone who'll make her want to be better. But she hasn't changed. She just found new excuses." Vivian put the ultrasound back in the envelope, handed it to me. "I'll testify. If this goes to court, I'll testify about the timeline, about the lies, about her history. And Jennifer?" She stood up, straightened her shoulders. "She's not welcome in my home anymore. A mother's worst fear is watching her daughter become someone she can't recognize." "I'm so sorry, Bradley, for what she did, for what I didn't prevent." She walked to the door, stopped. "You're a good father. Emma is lucky to have you. Don't let my daughter take that away." After she left, I sat there holding the ultrasound. This baby, this innocent kid who didn't ask for any of this, wasn't mine. Never was. And Jen had known from the start. The lie was bigger than I'd thought. I went back to the house that evening to get some of Emma's things. She'd been asking for her stuffed animals, for her school backpack, for normal things because 8-year-olds shouldn't have to understand why Daddy isn't living at home anymore. Jen was there, waiting. She'd known I was coming. The Purple Heart was still on the wall in the living room. Shadow box, glass front, velvet backing. Emma had helped me hang it when we moved in 2 years ago. She'd been so careful, holding the level, making sure it was perfect. "We need to talk," Jen said. "No, we don't. I'm just getting Emma's things." "You're turning this into a huge deal when it doesn't have to be. It was a mistake, Bradley. I was lonely. You were gone for 9 months. 9 months. Do you know what that's like, being alone, raising Emma by yourself, wondering if you were going to come back in a box? Other military spouses manage." "Well, maybe I'm not other military spouses." Her voice rose, sharp, defensive. "Maybe I needed more. Maybe I needed someone who was actually here, someone who wasn't always choosing the army over me, over us." "I wasn't choosing the army. I was serving my country." "You were choosing this." She pointed at the Purple Heart. You were choosing to be a hero instead of a husband. You were choosing medals and glory over being present, over being a father. Emma barely knows you, Bradley. You're always gone, always deploying, always putting duty first. Well, congratulations. You got your Purple Heart. You almost died for it. Was it worth it? Was getting shot worth missing Emma's childhood? Something in me cracked. Don't you dare make this about my service. Don't you dare pretend this is my fault because I deployed. Every soldier here deployed. And somehow their wives didn't... Their wives what? Didn't get lonely? Didn't get tired of waiting? You have no idea what it's like, Bradley. No idea. You're right, I don't, because I was too busy getting shot at to worry about being lonely. The front door opened. Emma, home from school, her backpack still on, purple with unicorns. She stopped when she saw us, saw the anger in the air like smoke. Mommy? Daddy, are you fighting? Jen's face changed, softened. Sweetie, no, we're just talking. Why don't you go upstairs? You're yelling. Em, it's okay, I said. I was just leaving. I'll see you this weekend, all right? But Emma wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the Purple Heart, at her mother's finger still pointing at it. She walked over, stood in front of it, 8 years old in her school uniform, barely 4 feet tall, standing between her mother and the symbol of my service. This is Daddy's hero medal, Emma said quietly. He got shot protecting people. He almost died. Emma, honey, I know, but... You said he chose this instead of us, but Daddy didn't choose to get shot. He chose to protect people. That's what heroes do. Jen's voice went cold, hard. You don't understand, Emma. You're too young to... I'm not too young. I know Daddy protects people. He protects everybody, even us, especially us. And you're mad at him for being brave. Emma reached up, took the shadow box down from the wall, held it carefully with both hands. The glass case made that hollow sound against her palms. The weight of it, heavier than it looked, made her arms shake slightly. Jen moved forward. Put that back. That doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Daddy. And Daddy is a hero. And you don't get to be mean about it. Emma, put it back right now. No. The slap happened so fast I almost missed it. Jen's hand across Emma's face. The crack of it echoed in the living room. The shadow box fell from Emma's hands, but I caught it. Muscle memory, reflexes from years of training. Emma's cheek bloomed red. Her eyes went wide, shocked. Jen stepped back, her hand over her mouth. I didn't mean, Emma, I'm sorry, I put the shadow box on the coffee table, picked up my daughter. She was crying. Not loud, just silent tears running down her face, her hand on her cheek where her mother had hit her. We're leaving, I said. Bradley, wait, I didn't mean to... You hit our daughter. We're done. She was being disrespectful. She was defending me, and you hit her for it. I grabbed Emma's backpack, walked to the door. Jen was crying now, saying sorry, saying she didn't mean it, saying I was overreacting. I looked at her, this woman I'd married, this woman I'd trusted, this woman I'd thought about every day during deployment. You know what the worst part is, I said. Not the affair, not the lies, not even the baby. The worst part is that you just hit our daughter for loving me. That's the line you can't uncross. I walked out, Emma's arms around my neck, her hand still on her cheek. The sound of that slap still echoing in my ears. Behind us, Jen screamed, You chose that medal over us. This is your fault. All of it. I didn't look back. Emma whispered against my shoulder, Daddy, I saved your medal. I know, baby, I know. Am I in trouble? No, sweetheart. You're not in trouble. You did nothing wrong. We got in the car. I buckled her in. Her cheek was still red, still showing the outline of fingers. Evidence that would matter later in court when lawyers asked about fitness and safety and who should have custody. As I drove away from that house, that base housing unit that was supposed to be our forever home, Emma said something that broke me. Daddy, are we going home? Yes, baby, we're going home. Where's home now? I didn't have an answer. That night, in the temporary quarters on base, 2 rooms, government furniture, everything beige and temporary, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept touching her cheek, kept looking at me like she was afraid I might disappear. Can I sleep in your room tonight, Daddy? Of course. She brought her pillow, her stuffed elephant she'd had since she was 2. She climbed into the military-issue twin bed beside me and curled up small. Daddy? Yeah, baby? Is the baby not yours? My heart stopped. Where did you hear that? I heard Mommy on the phone. She was talking to Grandma Vivian. She said, the baby isn't yours. She said... Emma's voice got smaller. She said, that's why you left. I should have lied. Should have protected her from this. But I'd spent 2 weeks lying by omission, and look where it got us. The baby isn't mine, Em. Silence, just her breathing. The hum of the AC. Then, so quiet I almost missed it. Daddy, am I not really yours either? Oh, God. I sat up, turned on the bedside lamp. Emma was crying. Silent tears, huge eyes, terrified. Why would you think that? Because Mommy said the baby isn't yours. And my mommy, my first mommy, she died when I was born. So maybe I'm not really yours either. Maybe nobody's really mine. Maybe... Stop! I pulled her into my lap, held her face in my hands. Emma Rose Reynolds, you listen to me. You're mine because I chose you. Your mom, your first mom, she chose me to be your father with her dying breath. She looked at me and said, take care of our girl. Our girl. You've been mine since the moment you were born. Biology doesn't make fathers, Emmy. Love does. Showing up does. Being there does. But you weren't there. You deployed. You left me. I left to protect you. To protect all of us. That's not the same as abandoning you. Mommy said, Mommy's wrong. And I'm sorry you heard her say those things, but Emmy, I need you to understand something. Are you listening? She nodded against my chest. I will never abandon you. Never. Not for the army. Not for anyone. You are my daughter. Mine. The most important thing in my entire life. Do you understand? But what if you deploy again? Then I deploy. But I come back. I always come back. Because you're waiting for me. Because you're my home. She pulled back. Looked at my chest. At the dog tags still around my neck. The ones I'd worn through deployment. The ones she'd asked to wear that first night home. Can I wear your tags again? The real ones? So I can feel close to you even when you're at work? I took them off. The ball chain was warm from my body heat. When I put them over her head, they clinked. That sound that meant safety, meant military, meant home. They hung too low on her small chest. I shortened the chain like I had before. She touched them, made that soft clinking sound. Looked up at me. These mean you're a soldier, right? Right. And soldiers protect people. Yes. So wearing these means I'm protected. Because you're my soldier. I'm always your soldier, Em. Tags or no tags. She fell asleep like that. Wearing my deployment dog tags. Her hand resting on them. That gentle clink as her chest rose and fell with sleep. The sound of someone holding on to you when they're afraid you'll disappear. I watched her sleep. This kid, this brave, fierce, loyal kid who defended me to her mother, who got slapped for loving me, who just asked if she was really mine because she'd heard her mother dismiss another child. If you were me, if you were Bradley, what would you do? Would you fight publicly through court-martial and risk Emma's stability during the process? Would you expose everything, let the system dissect your family, make your daughter testify about that slap, drag her through legal proceedings that could take months? Or would you accept the CO's offer of a quiet transfer, protect Emma's peace, let Cole face no real consequences, let Jen walk away clean, but keep your daughter safe from the fallout? There's no easy answer. Both choices come from love. Both hurt. I saw you in the comments. Some of you would fight for justice. Some would protect your child's peace. I made my choice that night watching Emma sleep with my dog tags around her neck. I chose to fight. The next morning, I met with Douglas Hammond, 41 years old, JAG attorney. We'd gone to West Point together, stayed friends through 15 years and 6 deployments. He was the best military lawyer at Fort Liberty. His office smelled like coffee and old law books. He had the duty roster spread out on his desk, the one with my signature authorizing Cole's family support assignment. Captain Rachel Henderson was there too, 33, fellow officer. Her husband had cheated during her deployment to Kuwait. She'd fought it through the military justice system, won. She knew this process inside and out. Bradley, I need you to look at this signature. Douglas pointed to my name at the bottom of the duty roster. Does anything look off to you? I studied it, the loops, the slant, the way the R connected to the E in Reynolds. The pressure's wrong. See how the ink's darker in some places? When I sign, I press evenly. This looks like someone traced it, pressed harder where they were uncertain. Douglas pulled out a magnifying glass. Old school. The Y in Bradley, you always curl it back on itself. This one doesn't. And look, he pointed to the date. September 15th, you deployed September 13th. This document is dated 2 days after you left U.S. airspace. So someone forged it after I deployed to create a paper trail. Exactly. And that means... Rachel interrupted. It means someone in the chain of command wanted Cole to have access. Someone who could backdate official documents. Someone with authority. Morrison, I said. Douglas and Rachel exchanged looks. We can't prove that, Douglas said carefully. But Bradley, I need to tell you something. Captain Henderson did some digging. Cole Mitchell Patterson. He was at Fort Bragg before here. He left under questionable circumstances. Rachel opened her own folder. Sexual harassment complaint. A lieutenant's wife. Cole was assigned to family support there too. She filed a complaint saying he made inappropriate advances. It went to the CO for investigation. Let me guess. The CO was Morrison, and it disappeared. The complaint was withdrawn. The lieutenant and his wife transferred to Germany 6 weeks later, very quietly, and Cole transferred here, to Morrison's new command. 6 months later, my jaw clenched. Morrison covered it up, and then brought Cole with him, knowing what he'd done. We can't prove Morrison knew, Douglas said, but the pattern is there, and that pattern helps us. It shows Cole has a history of exploiting his position. It shows this wasn't an isolated incident. It was a method. I need you to do something, Rachel said. She pulled out her phone. Record everything. Every conversation with Morrison, every interaction with Cole, every time someone pressures you to drop this. North Carolina is a one-party consent state. If you're part of the conversation, you can record it legally. And when Morrison finds out, he'll threaten you. He'll try to intimidate you. He might even try to bring charges against you for insubordination. Rachel leaned forward. Bradley, I went through this. I know how hard it is, how lonely, how everyone acts like you're causing the problem by wanting accountability. But you're not. They are. And you have something they didn't have when they went after me. What? Evidence. You have gate logs, security footage, sign-in sheets, a forged authorization, a paternity test, Vivian's testimony, Emma's... She hesitated. Emma's injuries from yesterday. I'm sorry, but that handprint on her face, that matters in court. I thought about Emma sleeping with my dog tags, about her asking if she was really mine, about her standing between me and that purple heart, defending me to her mother. I'm not putting Emma on the stand. You might not have to. Photos, medical records, the incident report you need to file, that's enough. But Bradley, you need to understand, if you do this, if you fight this, they'll come after you. Your mental health, your PTSD, your fitness for command, your deployment record, everything. I know. And you're still going to do it? Yeah, I am. Douglas smiled. Then let's burn it all down. Carefully, legally, but completely. Rachel stood up, extended her hand. Welcome to the fight, Captain. It's gonna suck, but you'll come out the other side. I shook her hand. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Morrison's gonna make your life hell. And Bradley? She paused at the door. Cole did this before, at his last unit, and he got away with it. You're not just fighting for Emma, you're fighting so he doesn't do it to someone else's family. After they left, I sat in Douglas's office, looked at the duty roster, at my forged signature, at the evidence that someone in my chain of command had enabled my own betrayal. My phone buzzed. Morrison, my office, 1400. Be there. It was starting. I found myself in the garage behind my temporary quarters that night. Couldn't sleep, couldn't think. Just sat on the concrete floor, back against the wall, trying to breathe. The PTSD was bad, worse than it had been in months. The kind where your chest gets tight and your vision narrows, and you can't tell if you're in North Carolina or back in Iraq. The kind where every loud noise is a mortar, every shadow is a threat. I'd been managing it. Therapy with Dr. Thompson, medication, coping strategies. I'd been functional, good even. But stress is a trigger, and betrayal is stress. And discovering your entire chain of command is corrupt, that's the kind of stress that breaks you. I couldn't breathe, couldn't get air into my lungs. My hands were shaking. The garage was too small, too dark. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears like incoming fire. I was on the concrete floor, couldn't breathe, couldn't... Daddy? Emma's voice, small, scared. She was standing in the doorway from the house, wearing her pajamas, my dog tags around her neck. They caught the light from the bare bulb overhead. Daddy, are you okay? I wanted to lie, wanted to be strong, wanted to be the hero she thought I was. But I was on a garage floor at 0200 having a panic attack, falling apart. No, baby, I'm not okay. She walked over, sat down next to me on the cold concrete, didn't say anything, just put her small hand on my shoulder. Her dog tags, my dog tags, clinked softly. We sat there, father and daughter, both broken in different ways, both trying to figure out how to be okay. It's okay to not be okay, Emma whispered. That's what Mrs. Peterson says, my teacher. She says sometimes grown-ups have bad days too. I'm having a bad day. Because of mommy? Yeah, because of mommy. And other stuff. Work stuff. Soldier stuff. Does it hurt? Yeah, Em, it hurts. She leaned against me, her head on my shoulder. 8 years old, barely 40 pounds, wearing my deployment dog tags like armor. I'm sorry you're hurting, Daddy, but you're still my hero, even when you're sad. Heroes get sad too. That's what makes them brave. They're sad, but they keep going. Something in me broke, but it was the good kind of breaking, the kind that lets light in. I wrapped my arm around her, held her close. This kid, this incredible kid who found me in a garage at 2 a.m. and didn't run away scared, who sat with me in my worst moment and told me heroes get sad too. Thank you, Emmy. For what? For showing up, for being here, for being you. She looked up at me. Are you going to be okay? Yeah, baby, I am, because I have you. And I have you. We have each other. We have each other. The dog tags clinked as she shifted. That sound, that constant reminder, connection, family, home. Can we go back to bed now, Daddy? I'm sleepy. Yeah, let's go to bed. She stood up, offered me her hand. 8 years old, trying to help her father stand up from a garage floor. I took it, let her pull me up, let her lead me back inside. As we walked back to the quarters, Emma asked, Daddy, what are you going to do? About Mommy and Mr. Cole and everything? I looked down at her, at this fierce little girl wearing my dog tags, at the faint mark still visible on her cheek from where her mother slapped her, at the purple unicorn pajamas and the gap-toothed smile and the absolute trust in her eyes. I'm going to fight, Em. I'm going to make sure the truth comes out, and I'm going to make sure you're safe always. Will it be scary? Probably. Will I have to go to court? I hope not, but maybe. Okay. She squeezed my hand. I'm brave if you're brave. We went inside. She climbed back into bed, touched the dog tags one more time. That clink, that promise. Daddy, you know what's funny? What's that? Mommy wanted you to take these off, but they're the best thing ever because when I wear them, I feel like you're with me, even when you're not. After she fell asleep, I sat in the dark, made my decision, the one that would define everything that came next. Morrison wanted me to take the transfer, to stay quiet, to let Cole walk away, to let Jen face no consequences, to let a corrupt system stay corrupt. Duty first, he'd said, like duty meant protecting the institution instead of the truth. But I'd finally figured out what duty first really meant. My first duty wasn't to the unit, wasn't to my career, wasn't to the system that had failed me. My first duty was to her, to Emma, to making sure she grew up in a world where truth mattered, where accountability mattered, where someone who hurt her faced consequences. I was going to fight. And I was going to win, not for me, for her. The court-martial took 45 days to convene. 45 days of investigation, evidence gathering, witness interviews. 45 days of Morrison trying to intimidate me, Cole's friends spreading rumors that I was unstable, and Jen's lawyer trying to claim I was using military proceedings to punish her for a private matter. 45 days of Emma asking every morning, "Is it over yet, Daddy?" Not yet, baby, but soon. The courtroom was packed. Military trials aren't like civilian ones. They're formal, rigid, governed by the Uniform Code of Military Justice. A panel of 5 officers, a military judge. The whole thing recorded, transcribed, permanent. 50 people in the gallery. Other soldiers, spouses, a reporter from Military Times. This wasn't going to be quiet. Morrison had lost that fight. I sat at the prosecutor's table with Douglas. Emma was with Rachel outside, too young to be in the courtroom, but close enough that I could see her during breaks. She was wearing my dog tags. She hadn't taken them off in 45 days. Cole sat at the defense table in his dress uniform, clean, pressed, looking like the professional soldier he'd never actually been. His attorney was civilian, expensive. Someone had paid for that. The charges, fraternization with an officer's spouse, conduct unbecoming, abuse of position, fraudulent use of official documents. The judge entered. We all stood. This court-martial is now in session. Douglas presented the evidence methodically, surgically, every piece documented, every connection proven. First, the gate logs. 47 pages. The gate guard who'd compiled them, Specialist Martinez, testified. Sir, I logged every entry to the officer housing area after 2,200 hours. That's standard protocol. Sergeant Patterson's vehicle entered 34 times during Captain Reynolds' deployment. 28 of those entries have no corresponding exit time, indicating overnight stays. And did you report this pattern? Martinez shifted uncomfortably. Yes, sir. I reported it to my supervisor. I was told to mind my business, that it was authorized family support. Who told you that? I'd rather not say, sir. The judge leaned forward. Specialist, you're under oath. Martinez swallowed. Command Sergeant Major Briggs, sir. On orders from Lieutenant Colonel Morrison. The courtroom went silent. Morrison sat in the back row, face red, jaw clenched. Next, the family support group sign-in sheets. 23 meetings. 23 times Cole and Jen signed in together, signed out together. The coordinator testified about how unusual it was. Family support is meant to help spouses, not this. When I saw the pattern, I mentioned it to command. I was told the captain had personally approved Sergeant Patterson's assignment. But the captain was deployed. Yes, ma'am, I know that now. Then came the duty roster. Douglas put it on the projector. My signature. September 15th, the day I deployed. A handwriting expert testified. The pressure patterns are inconsistent with Captain Reynolds' baseline samples. The EEY in Bradley lacks his characteristic curl. The date is impossible. Captain Reynolds was in flight to Iraq when this document was allegedly signed. This is a forgery. Cole's attorney objected. Your Honor, this could simply be a paperwork error, a date entered incorrectly. There's no proof. There's a paper trail, Douglas interrupted. He pulled out more documents. This authorization was filed electronically at 14:30 hours on September 15th, 2 hours after Captain Reynolds' transport left U.S. airspace. The IP address traces to an office in battalion headquarters, specifically to Lieutenant Colonel Morrison's command computer. The courtroom erupted. The judge called for order. Morrison stood up, walked out. Everyone watched him go. The prosecution continued. Vivian Carter took the stand, 55 years old, dignified in a dark blue dress. She didn't look at her daughter in the gallery. Mrs. Carter, what is your relationship to the defendant? My daughter Jennifer is involved with him, was involved with him. I don't know anymore. And what do you know about the timeline of your daughter's pregnancy? Vivian pulled out the ultrasound. This is dated March 21st, 18 weeks pregnant. That means conception occurred in late November. My daughter told Captain Reynolds she conceived in early September before his deployment. That was a lie. Why are you testifying against your daughter, Mrs. Carter? Vivian's voice cracked. Because someone has to tell the truth. And because Bradley Reynolds is a good man who's been destroyed by people who should have protected him. My daughter made her choices. She can live with the consequences. Cole's attorney cross-examined, tried to make it seem like Vivian was bitter, vindictive, unreliable. Vivian shut him down. I'm a mother watching my daughter repeat the same patterns she showed at 17. This isn't the first time she's done this. Captain Reynolds wasn't told about her history. If he had been, maybe he could have protected himself. But he trusted her, and she destroyed that trust. That's on her, not him. The most powerful testimony came at the end. Emma's victim impact statement. She was too young to testify in person, but her written words could be read into the record. Vivian read them. The courtroom went quiet as she unfolded the paper. Emma's handwriting, careful third-grade cursive. My name is Emma Rose Reynolds. I am 8 years old. My daddy is Captain Bradley Reynolds. He is the bravest person I know. Vivian's voice trembled reading it. My daddy protects people even when he's far away. That's what heroes do. When he was deployed, I missed him every day. I wrote him letters. I made him a banner. I counted the days until he came home. Mr. Cole pretended to help us. He said Daddy wanted him to be there. He read me bedtime stories in Daddy's chair. He made me think Daddy said it was okay. But Daddy didn't know. Daddy was in Iraq getting hurt, protecting people. When Daddy came home, everything changed. Mommy and Daddy started fighting. I didn't understand why. Then Mommy told me the baby isn't Daddy's. She said it's Mr. Cole's baby. I got confused. My first mommy died when I was born. So I asked Daddy if I'm not really his either. Daddy cried. He said I'm his because he chose me. He said biology doesn't make dads. Love makes dads. My mommy hit me because I said Daddy is a hero. She said Daddy chose the army over us. But Daddy didn't choose the army. He chose to protect people. There's a difference. Mr. Cole is not a hero. He lied. He hurt my daddy. He hurt my family. Heroes don't do that. I want Mr. Cole to know he didn't win, because I still have my daddy, and my daddy is still a hero, and heroes always win in the end. Love, Emma Rose Reynolds. Vivian folded the paper, put it on the witness stand, walked back to her seat. The courtroom was silent. I saw one of the panel members, a colonel with 3 deployments, wipe his eyes. The judge called a recess. The verdict came back in 2 hours. Guilty, all charges. The judge looked at Cole. Sergeant Patterson, you exploited your position of trust. You betrayed a fellow soldier during his deployment. You forged official documents to facilitate your actions. You showed no remorse. This court finds you guilty of fraternization, conduct unbecoming, and fraudulent use of official documents. The sentence of this court is as follows: reduction to rank E1, forfeiture of all pay and allowances, and dishonorable discharge from the United States Army. You are hereby stripped of your rank and dismissed from service. Bailiff, remove this man. Cole stood. They removed his rank insignia right there, cut it off his uniform with scissors. The sound of fabric tearing. Then they escorted him out. He looked at me as he passed. No smugness now, no confidence, just the realization that his career was over, that he'd destroyed everything for an affair that didn't even matter. The judge continued. This court also recommends an investigation into Lieutenant Colonel Frank Morrison for obstruction of justice and abuse of authority. Those findings will be referred to the appropriate command. Morrison would face his own court-martial, eventually. The system worked slowly, but it worked. After the verdict, Rachel found me in the hallway. Emma was with her, holding her hand. "You did it," Rachel said. "You actually did it." "We did it. You helped." "No, you did this. You chose to fight when everyone told you not to. You chose truth over convenience. You chose Emma over career safety." Emma tugged my sleeve. "Daddy, is it over? Is the bad man gone?" "Yeah, baby, it's over. He's gone." She hugged me, hard. The dog tags around her neck clinked against mine. We were both wearing them now. I'd gotten a second set so we could match. "Can we go home now?" "Soon, Em. There's one more thing we need to do first." Two days after the court-martial, I got a call from Tennessee, an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Captain Reynolds, this is Margaret Patterson, Cole's mother." I went cold. "Before you hang up, please, I need to speak with you about the baby." We met at a coffee shop off base, neutral territory. Margaret was 62, silver-haired, wearing a church dress. Her husband, Frank, was with her, 65, retired electrician, weathered hands. They looked like good people, tired people, ashamed people. "Captain Reynolds, we want to apologize for our son, for what he did to you and your family. There's no excuse for it." "Mrs. Patterson, please, let me finish." She pulled out a tissue, twisted it in her hands. "Cole called us after the trial. He's angry, bitter, blaming everyone but himself. We raised him better than this. We thought we did anyway, but somewhere along the way, he learned to take things that weren't his, to justify it, to never take responsibility. We've decided we're not enabling that anymore. We told him he's not welcome at home until he gets real help, real accountability, not just anger at getting caught." Frank leaned forward. "But Captain, the baby, Cole's baby, our grandchild, that innocent life doesn't deserve to pay for his sins." Margaret continued. "Jennifer, your wife, she reached out. She said she can't raise this baby, can't afford it, doesn't want to. She asked if we'd consider adoption." My chest tightened. "We know we have no right to ask anything from you, but we wanted you to know. We're good people. We love children. We have a stable home. We'd raise this baby with love, with the truth. When he or she is old enough, we'll explain what happened, honestly. We won't hide it or sugarcoat it. And we wanted to ask your permission, not legally, we don't need that, but morally. This baby is connected to the worst thing that ever happened to you. If you don't want us to take the child, if you don't want any connection, take the baby," I said. They both looked up. "You're good people, I can see that. Your son made his choices, but this baby didn't. This baby deserves a chance, a real chance. And it sounds like you'll give that." Margaret started crying. Thank you so much. We promise we'll be good to this child. We'll make sure he knows love, real love. Not the selfish kind our son showed, but the kind that puts others first." I pulled out the ultrasound photo. The one Vivian had given me. The one I'd been carrying in my pocket for 45 days. I slid it across the table. This is yours, the baby's first picture. Every kid deserves to have their first picture. Margaret took it with shaking hands, pressed it to her chest. You're a better man than my son ever was, Frank said quietly. Your daughter is lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. As they stood to leave, Margaret touched my arm. Captain, if you ever need anything, ever, you call us. We owe you more than we can ever repay. After they left, I sat in that coffee shop, thought about the baby, about innocent lives caught in other people's mistakes, about how sometimes the best thing you can do is make sure the innocent are protected, even when it costs you something. Emma had asked if the baby would be okay. I could tell her yes now. The baby would be okay. The transfer orders came through 3 weeks later. Fort Benning, Georgia, U.S. Army Infantry School. Promotion to major, prestigious posting. The kind of assignment that meant your career was still intact despite everything. Emma was excited. New house, Daddy? New school? Yeah, baby. Fresh start. We packed together. Most of our things were in storage. I'd been living in temporary quarters for 2 months, but there were important things to gather. Emma's stuffed animals, her school projects, her books, and carefully folded in her closet, the welcome home banner. You kept this? I asked. I rescued it from the trash, remember? After Mommy tore it down. I kept it because it's true. You did come home. You came home to me. The vinyl was wrinkled now. Some of the paint had flaked. But her purple handprints were still visible, the letters still readable. Can we bring it to our new house, Daddy? Absolutely. Sergeant Major Davis stopped by to say goodbye. 43 years old, 22 years of service. My mentor, the man who'd shown me the gate logs when he could have stayed quiet. You did good, sir, real good. Not many people would have fought like you did. I had help. You gave me the evidence. I gave you papers. You gave that little girl justice. He looked at Emma, who was labeling boxes with purple marker. That's what matters. Davis, Morrison's investigation. He'll be court-martialed within 6 months. The IG found evidence he'd covered up 2 other fraternization cases. Pattern of behavior. He's done, and good riddance. Thank you for everything. Thank me by being a good father, by showing her that the system works when good people fight for it. That's how we fix things, one fight at a time. As we loaded the car, Rachel Henderson came by. 33, fellow officer, survivor of her own betrayal. Fort Benning treating you right? New command's excited to have me. Clean slate, good people. That's what you deserve, Bradley. Clean slate, good people. She handed Emma a wrapped box. This is for you, kiddo. Emma opened it. Inside, a frame. And in the frame, her victim impact statement, the one Vivian had read in court, matted and framed like official documentation. So you never forget how brave you were? Rachel said. How you stood up for your dad when no one else would. That's hero stuff, Emma. Emma hugged her. Thank you, Captain Henderson. You take care of your dad, okay? He's one of the good ones. I know. He's my hero. After Rachel left, Emma looked at the framed statement, traced her own handwriting with one finger. Daddy, can we hang this in our new house? Of course, right next to the Purple Heart, heroes together. She grinned, gap-toothed, 8 years old, the bravest person I knew. As we drove away from Fort Liberty, away from the base, housing where I'd thought we'd build our life, away from the headquarters where I'd been betrayed, away from the courtroom where justice finally happened, Emma asked, Daddy, will the bad memories follow us? I looked at her in the rearview mirror, wearing my dog tags, holding her stuffed elephant, purple marker on her hands from labeling boxes. No, sweetheart, only the good ones. We're taking the banner, the Purple Heart, your letters, the dog tags, the things that matter. The rest, we leave behind. What about Mommy? Jen had signed the divorce papers 2 weeks ago, quietly, no fight. She'd moved off base, got a job in Fayetteville. She had visitation rights, supervised, minimal, but Emma didn't ask to see her much. Maybe someday they rebuild something, maybe not. That was for Emma to decide when she was older. Mommy made her choices, I said. We're making ours. We're choosing to move forward, together. Just us? Just us, is that okay? Yeah, Daddy, that's perfect. Fort Benning, Georgia, late August. The air was thick with humidity and pine trees and new beginnings. The welcome ceremony was smaller than Fort Liberty's. 400 soldiers and families. But it felt right, comfortable, like maybe this could be home. Emma insisted on hanging the banner. We'd had it professionally cleaned, the wrinkles pressed out, the colors restored. It hung from the bleachers like it had 2 months ago, like it had when I first came home. Welcome home, Daddy, purple handprints, third-grade letters, a little girl's love made visible. The new commanding officer, Colonel Sarah Michaels, had heard my story. Not gossip, facts. She'd read the court-martial transcripts, made her own judgments. Major Reynolds, we're honored to have you. What you went through, what you fought for, that's the kind of integrity this command values. You and your daughter are safe here. Welcome home. Welcome home. The phrase meant something different now. Not place, not building, not base. People. The ones who show up. The ones who stay. The ones who fight for you when everything falls apart. The colors posted. The flag rose. 400 soldiers saluted. Emma stood beside me in her Sunday dress, wearing my dog tags. She'd insisted on being in uniform, too. Her version. The tags around her neck, the banner behind us, her hand in mine. Are you ready? She whispered. I looked down at her. This incredible kid, this fierce, loyal, brave kid who'd defended me to her mother, who'd sat with me in a garage when I couldn't breathe, who'd asked if she was really mine and then believed me when I said yes. With you? Always. We saluted together as the anthem played. Father and daughter, both wearing dog tags, both starting over, both choosing each other. The ceremony ended. People came up to introduce themselves, other families, other soldiers, other kids Emma's age who played on the grass, while adults talked. Colonel Michaels pulled me aside. Major, I know starting over is hard, but I want you to know we have a strong community here, support systems, good people. You're not alone in this. Thank you, ma'am. And Major, your daughter, she's remarkable. The way she testified, even in writing, that took courage. You raised a good kid. She raised herself, ma'am. I just try not to mess it up. You're doing better than you think. That night in our new base housing, 3-bedroom, fresh paint, no bad memories in the walls, Emma and I started a new tradition. Daddy, can we write letters? Like I wrote you during deployment? But now we write each other even when we're together. Why would we do that, baby? We're in the same house. Because sometimes it's easier to write feelings than say them, and because when you deploy again someday, we'll already be good at it when you deploy again, not if, when. She knew I'd deploy eventually, that was the job. But she wasn't scared anymore, because she understood now. Deploying didn't mean abandoning, it meant serving, and serving meant coming home. Okay, Em, letters, even when we're together. She grinned, got out her colored paper, started writing. Dear Daddy, welcome home to our new home. This house is nice. My room is purple. You let me pick. I like the new school, but mostly I like that we're together. Thank you for fighting for me. Thank you for being brave even when you were scared. You're my hero forever. Love, Emma. She folded it. Put it on my pillow. I wrote back. Dear Emma, you're the one who's brave. You stood up for me when no one else did. You sat with me when I was broken. You never doubted me. I'm not your hero, sweetheart. You're mine. I love you more than anything in this world. Thanks for giving me a reason to fight. Love, Daddy. The next morning she found it, read it, cried a little, smiled a lot. We're gonna be okay, aren't we, Daddy? Yeah, baby. We're gonna be okay. 6 weeks later, September, the battalion held a special formation, recognition ceremony for soldiers who'd shown exceptional integrity. Colonel Michaels called me forward. Major Reynolds demonstrated extraordinary courage in exposing corruption within his previous command. Despite personal cost, despite pressure to stay silent, despite threats to his career, he chose truth. He chose accountability. He chose to fight for what was right. This is the standard we expect from our officers. Major, your actions remind us all why we serve. She presented me with a commendation. The whole battalion applauded, but the best part came after. Emma had asked if she could say something. Colonel Michaels agreed. My 8-year-old daughter walked to the microphone, wearing her Sunday best, wearing my dog tags, carrying a folded piece of paper. Hi, I'm Emma. That's my daddy. She pointed at me. I wrote something I want to read. The battalion, 400 soldiers, went quiet for a kid. My daddy taught me that duty first doesn't mean doing what's easy. It means doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when people tell you not to, even when you're scared. He taught me that welcome home soldier isn't about buildings or bases. It's about people. It's about love. It's about family that shows up even when things are bad. And he taught me that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you're scared, but you do the right thing anyway. She folded the paper, looked at the formation. My daddy is the bravest person I know, not because he got a Purple Heart, but because he fought for the truth when everyone told him to be quiet. That's real bravery. That's real duty first. Thank you for letting us be here. Thank you for giving us a new home. And thank you for understanding that sometimes the bravest thing a soldier can do is protect his family. She walked back to me. The formation erupted in applause. Some soldiers were crying, grown men with combat tours and decorations, wiping their eyes because an 8-year-old just explained integrity better than any manual could. I picked her up, hugged her. The dog tags, both sets, hers and mine, clinked together. You did good, baby. So did you, Daddy. Colonel Michaels dismissed the formation. As soldiers dispersed, several came up to shake my hand, to tell me their own stories, about times they stayed quiet when they shouldn't have, about times they wished they'd fought. You gave us permission to do the right thing, one captain said, no matter the cost. After everyone left, it was just Emma and me on the parade ground, the sun setting over Fort Benning, the flag still flying, our new home. Daddy, can I tell you something? Anything, baby. I'm not scared anymore about you deploying, about things being bad, because I know now, no matter what happens, we have each other. And that's enough. That's more than enough, Em. That's everything. She took my hand. We walked back toward base housing, our home. The banner was still hanging from our porch. Emma had insisted. So everyone knows you came home, Daddy. So everyone knows that's what matters. As we walked, the dog tags made that familiar sound. Clink, clink. The sound of connection, of family, of promises kept. Bradley and Emma redefined what welcome home soldier really means. It's not about where you return to. It's about who's waiting for you. It's not about buildings or bases or addresses. It's about people, about loyalty, about love that survives betrayal and emerges stronger. If you've built your own chosen family through loyalty instead of blood, through showing up instead of showing off, through fighting for truth when lies were easier, tell me about them in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Because these stories matter. They remind us that families aren't just born, they're built, one brave choice at a time. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that honor isn't inherited, it's earned, that duty means protecting the innocent, not protecting the comfortable, subscribe. I tell stories about betrayal, courage, and the people who rebuild when everything falls apart. About soldiers who serve not just their country, but their families. About kids who defend their parents with nothing but truth and love. About justice that takes time, but eventually comes. I'll see you in the next one. That night, Emma handed me another letter, our new tradition. Even though we lived in the same house, we wrote to each other, kept the connection strong. Dear Daddy, today was a good day. You got a medal. I got to give a speech. We're making new friends. But the best part is us. Thank you for teaching me that brave doesn't mean fearless. It means fighting anyway. I love you infinity times infinity. Your daughter forever, Emma, I wrote back. Dear Emma, you taught me more than I ever taught you. You showed me what courage looks like, standing up for what's right, even when the person you're standing up to is someone you love. You showed me what family means, choosing each other, protecting each other, believing in each other. You're not just my daughter, you're my hero. I love you infinity times infinity plus one. Your daddy forever, Bradley. The next morning, I found her reply on my pillow. P.S. Daddy, I counted. That's 47 letters we've written since we started our new tradition. Same as the letters I wrote during deployment. Except these ones are better, because we're together. Love, Emma. 47 letters, full circle. From counting days until I came home, to choosing to write each other when we're in the same house. From distance to closeness, from fear to safety, from broken to healing. On my desk, next to her letter, the brass compass, the duty roster with the forged signature, evidence that had brought down a corrupt command, the ultrasound photo I'd given to Cole's parents, the court-martial commendation, and above them all, 2 shadow boxes hanging side by side, my Purple Heart on the left, Emma's framed victim impact statement on the right. Heroes together, protecting each other the way it should be. The dog tags around my neck made that soft clink as I stood up. The ones Emma wore made the same sound downstairs as she got ready for school. Symphony of connection. 2 people choosing each other, building family not through blood but through loyalty, through truth, through love that fights for justice and wins. Duty first, I used to think, meant sacrifice, meant leaving, meant putting mission above self. But Emma taught me different. Duty first means protecting the innocent, means standing up for truth, means showing your daughter that integrity matters more than convenience, that courage means doing right even when it costs you everything. My first duty isn't to rank or command or system. My first duty is to her, to making sure she grows up knowing that someone fought for her, that someone chose her, that someone proved with evidence and testimony and 45 days of legal battle that she was worth fighting for. We are not our worst moments. We are not our betrayals. We are not the systems that fail us. We are our choices, the hard ones, the brave ones, the ones that cost us something but give our children everything. We are the people who show up, who stay, who fight. Welcome home, soldier, not to a place, to a purpose, to a person, to the only home that ever really mattered. Emma, my daughter, my family, my choice, forever.